Greetings, everyone. My name's Jake. That's my channel name, also. And welcome to my channel where I will review Batman Begins flick. I give it a 6 out of 10 for mediocre of a popcorn movie. The reason why I give it a 6 out of 10, and I'm going to go through the pros and cons, all the bullshit that I have gripes with this movie, blah blah blah. So, before those who don't want spoilers and plot spoilers, blah blah blah, this just me going to tell you right. The score is a 6 out of 10 for a mediocre popcorn movie. Now I'm going to talk about spoilers. So I like the redesign of the Batman costume and how it shows that the movie shows him making it. That was cool. Not sure how I feel about Scarecrow being in this movie, for this is his first live action appearance. And he's not even the main villain, even though the entire movie kind of hints that he should have been the main villain. So, plot twist is Ra's al Ghul, who Batman thinks he killed, but then he realized he just killed a doppelganger, not the real one. Which was the guy he saved is the real Ra's al Ghul, played by Liam Neeson. I trained him in combat, blah blah blah. It's just stupid. I'm going to say it. Making Liam Neeson the main threat of the movie instead of the Scarecrow was a bad idea. Especially, it's just like, this feels like convoluted of a movie. At times, I think when it brings in two major villains that I know for being major villains for Batman to face in the comics, and you just bring both in the movies. And Scarecrow's easily defeated through pepper spray by Rachel. And it's just like, when he gets defeated, it's like it's all a joke, and Batman doesn't even land the final punch to Scarecrow to defeat Scarecrow. It's like this Rachel doing it shit. That's lame. Batman Begins kind of gives me Iron Man 2 vibes with the story of how it plays out, and the action of how it's edited, which is quick, choppily edited TV style editing action, when it's always using a bunch of jump cuts and quick cuts with the action. This movie could have benefited, I feel like, from a director's cut to let the movie play out, but there never was a director's cut of this movie. So I'm assuming that this is the thing that they tried for the filmmakers to give out to the public. So I'm guessing this is how the filmmaker wanted. And if that's the case, with such a big name like Christopher Nolan, and he had a big reputation for his time, you would think that this would be a better product than what it ended up as. This movie feels more like a TV movie and less like a cinematic, big budget, brought to the big screen movie. I would have been more impressed with this movie if it was straight to TV movie. With the plot and how it's shot, everything looks TV like cinematic, not big screen cinematic. The sad thing is, I think this is the best the Batman gets to be likable as a character for his Christian Bale's reboot. It just got weaker, the writing with Batman and Bruce Wayne, having him being relevant to the plot of his own movie. Outside of kicking ass, he just didn't know how. It was like feels like a. Well, I feel like the one that is the weakest with Batman being relevant to the plot of the movie is The Dark Knight 2008. And I think that 2012 Dark Knight movie called Dark Knight Rises with Tom Hardy and Christian Bale is really the superior Batman movie in the trilogy. The more I'm thinking about it. I mean, the writing's up there with Batman Begins and the cinematic action shot like The Dark Knight. So, I think The Dark Knight Rises is the best Batman movie out of the bunch. The second best probably Batman Begins, and the weakest is probably The Dark Knight, I think. The more I'm thinking about it. Because Dark Knight Rises 2012 flick was more reason. Well, yeah, the one thing about I think that's the case. I think the third Batman movie, Dark Knight Rises, is the best in the Christian Bale trilogy. Even though his voice is up there with the sequel voice, he does the same voice he did in the Dark Knight voice within the third installment. I wish he was more toned back a bit, more to the Batman Begins level. Granted, he does tone it down a bit in the third installment, but he could have done a better job toning it down, like more like to Batman Begins level. But in the Dark Knight Rises, he feels like he is like it feels like a hybrid cross between the two voices he did in the previous Batman movie. Was how he talks in the third installment. Didn't completely bother me like it did in the second installment, the Dark Knight 2008 movie, was his voice. To me, that voice just didn't sound natural. Like it should be. It just sounds unintelligible in the Dark Knight. Like stupid. I appreciate that in Dark Knight Rises he toned down the voice a bit. It's just one that was more similar to Batman Begins, but it was like a cross to what he was doing with Batman Begins and the Dark Knight movies with the third installment. With the Batman voice when he plays Batman in the third time. And the final time. So Batman Begins, I give a 6 out of 10 for a mediocre of a movie. It's just, as Batman fan, as a fan of cinema, it's just mediocre movie put together. I felt like the final product. Which is why I give it a 6 out of 10. Although the reimagining of the Batmobile, making it into a tank, like a vehicle tank that looks like that's a fast vehicle but a beast, was a cool reimagining. Until Dark Knight decided to destroy the Batmobile vehicle and never have Batman replace or repair the Batmobile vehicle for the Dark Knight Rises, instead of just trading with the wing, the Batwing, that flies and never even making a new Batmobile, but keeps the Bat cycle. Yeah, that kind of bothered me. that the Batmobile just got blown up in the sequel, and if Batman never bothered to make a new Batmobile or get a new one, from Lucius. Another one that comes in black. I just think that would be the logical choice because Lucius has tons of them laying around, It's like more than one. So I'm sure might have a black one that comes in black with the tumbler. Is this why didn't I replace it? I don't know. I forgot. I'm not supposed to think about this stuff. I'm just supposed to enjoy my time and shut my brain off with this trilogy, right? That's why Batman Begins gets a 6 out of 10. Now I'm going to talk about the Dark Knight 2008 movie. I give that a 6 out of 10 with Heath Ledger's Joker, because Heath Ledger's barely Joker, whereas a decent enough performance is the script he's given. He's not in the movie a whole lot. And, he's like, compared to the other villain, Two-Face, or the other crime lord villains that are gangsters, blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of sucks because Joker's the best interesting, entertaining, funny villain out of the bunch. He's the most spontaneous villain with personality compared to the other villains that are just whiny losers. So, um, so good news, bad news thing. With Heath Ledger's Joker, he's good in the movie for what he's given, but what he's given isn't enough to make him, you know, to make it like I feel like I feel like this movie really edited him out a lot in this movie, and I hear this movie like got edited down in like with Joker's scenes, so it kind of shows that he might have been was supposed to be in this movie more, but he got edited out a lot down. Joker's like in it for like a few minutes in this movie before he gets taken in by the cops after Batman defeats him. Then it ends with him trying to defeat Harvey and killing Harvey after he becomes a villain because he gets burnt half alive. And yeah, he has the Two-Face design now, but he never took on the Two-Face identity or had a split personality like Two-Face in the comics. So he's just Harvey Dent being evil jackass. Because he wants revenge for his girl. Oh, boo hoo hoo for him. And he didn't think of trying to kill the Joker as long as, but just wants to kill the people who let Joker loose, and not want to kill Joker himself. Though that makes sense. This is stupid. I want to say it's stupid. He wanted to kill Joker also and kill everyone else connected. That would be much more evil and diabolical and smart writing. And it would give less pad out the runtime. It will give less reason to pad out. It will be make a less pad out runtime for the movie end. At the end, where it gets padding out the runtime with Gordon's speech after how he's defeated by Batman and his kids save Gordon's kid. And let's talk about the speech, the Dark Knight speech that Gordon gives. I just fucking thought was cheese of a speech. Cheesiest speech I ever heard. Next to whatever Nick Fury was saying at the end of the Avengers. Because we'll need them to come back. That's as cheesy, if not more cheesy, than I think Nick Fury's Avengers dialogue from the first Avengers movie, him believing the Avengers, putting blind faith in them, and the cheesy dialogue he's supposed to say is not nearly as cheesy as the dialogue Gary Oldman's forced to say for the final monologue of the Dark Knight sequel 2008 movie and close it with that shit dialogue. instead of letting the moment speak for itself. And just have Batman getting chased by the cops and just have the epic music play without any dialogue. That would have been better than what we fucking got of an ending. That's why the Dark Knight 2008 movie gets a 6 out of 10 for mediocre. Hang on, I gotta get a drink. I'm thirsty. Hello. Back. Yeah, I guess a sip of water, okay? So, Dark Knight gets a 6 out of 10 for mediocre. And now I'm going to talk about the Dark Knight Rises final installment. I'm glad there's not more than 3. Oh, thank God, there's not more than 3. 3, the last one of the title, The Dark Knight Rises 2012 movie, gets a 6 out of 10 for another mediocre fucking movie. Where it plays all the greatest hits from giving you what you want and just delivering an action beat on action beat, pointless action shots that push the PG-13 rating and treat you like adults with the pointless action, violence, and bullshit that adds up to absolutely nothing other than they had no other reason to bring back Batman other than show the coolest action. Because Batman's not really relevant to the plot, neither is Bruce Wayne half. They are obsolete to the plot of this movie. Completely, I feel like, you know? But Bane, on the other hand, he's quite entertaining and a cool villain until he's not, because we find out he has to get nerfed and demasculated as a henchman, like the henchman he was to Poison Ivy. He's now a henchman to a different bitch called Talia al Ghul, the head of the League of Assassins, after her father got murdered by Batman, took the mantle. Let this sink in your head. We got the serious take of Bane, who's supposed to be more faithful, and acts a little more faithful, until we find out it's the reverse. Because he's not a big boss for Batman to face. He's not the head boss of the movie. He's the henchman. Fuck me. Sideways. Kill me. God damn it. Why can't I have anything good? Are you telling me the only Batman villain that best competent, the only Batman villain that's competent, that feels like a proper Batman villain, is the Joker, and he's barely in the Dark Knight movie? He got heavily edited out of the movie. The more I played this movie, I realized he's barely in this movie outside of that opening shot that introduces him. He's in the movie less and less as the movie goes frequent on. What the fuck, Nolan? Why did you do this? Shit. Oh, I'm gonna kill this bastard for destroying my expectations and damaging my hype for each installment, for destroying my hype of Batman expecting better than mediocre. My foolish mistake was to have faith in Nolan. Fuck him. That filmmaking hack is a hack like James Gunn, filmmaker. I said that, and I meant it. Come at me if you have a problem with that, and I will win you a fight. If you want to get physical, then I can fight. I can tell you, and I will win that fight. I'm just telling you that's how much I think Nolan sucks as a filmmaker hack. Like James Gunn's a hack of a filmmaker. as much as James Gunn. Fuck Christopher Nolan. And fuck James Gunn's reboot universe. They don't know what's good comic book entertainment. Because they're so busy making fucking money. Of suckers. And idiots that reward their stupidity. Incompetence. That's why The Dark Knight 3 Rises gets a 6 out of 10 for mediocre horseshit. The whole trilogy's mediocre horseshit. 6 out of 10. Adds up to absolutely fucking nothing to make sense. Doesn't bother to make sense with the plot stories. The stories don't matter. Only the action seems to matter with Nolan. And I have give up on expecting better Batman content for a serious take on Batman. You know, if it's not Zack Snyder or Burton for live action making Batman content, then what else can you expect other than mediocre or camp? Because the only time when Batman is like not serious is like this is stupid. This is a stupid trilogy. Stupid fucking campy retarded writing trilogy The Dark Knight Rises is. And the whole Dark Knight trilogy sucks. It's mediocre poison. Horseshit. Do drugs. Don't stay in school because these people never even went to school, the filmmakers that made the Christopher Nolan trilogy. They obviously just did drugs and they got money with the creative input they made this horse shit. Because isn't that what's best for movie cinema? You just gotta make a shit ton of money. You don't need to make quality stories, right? That's all it needs. Money. To make a good movie, and more money after making a good movie, despite whatever the story is, how half-baked it might be. More than Dave Chappelle's half-baked movie of a Dark Knight trilogy, my ass. Sucks. In hindsight, is this stupid? It sucks that this ain't more than mediocre horseshit of movies. Well, I give them a 6 out of 10. Goodbye. Subscribe. Like this video, please. Support my channel, please. Till next time, that's my view on the Dark Knight trilogy from 2005 to 2012. And, bye. My onions. Looking for the off button.